here yet, still, you remember the Feast of the Ascension always on Thursday, and it was a holy day of obligation, Ascension Thursday, exactly 40 days after Easter. Probably was about 20 years ago that the bishops of the United States, as a conference of bishops, petitioned the Vatican for permission to transfer that feast to the seventh Sunday of Easter, which they granted, and it was up to each individual bishop to do so. Archbishop Hannes, probably about 18 years ago, granted that request or moved the feast in the Archdiocese of Dubuque to the seventh Sunday of Easter, and that's where we celebrated it since. And most of the dioceses in the United States have done that. There's a few that did not, but for the most part, the vast majority did so. So that's why we celebrate the Feast of the Ascension on Sunday here, and it's not Ascension Thursday like probably a lot of us probably remember when we were younger. So we ask ourselves the question, what exactly does it mean to celebrate the Ascension? What is the Ascension all about? So let's think about that a little bit in the terms of mission and ministry and discipleship. This weekend, on Friday evening and also on Saturday morning, I had the great privilege of being at the cathedral in Dubuque, where the Church of the Archdiocese of Dubuque ordained several men to different ministries and for service in the church. On Friday evening, there were 2 young men that were ordained to the transitional diaconate with the expectation that if they persevere and endure, they will be ordained priests next year. And then on Saturday morning, there was not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but what comes after 4? 5. 5 men were ordained priests for the Archdiocese. That's great. I think that's the largest class since mine. I had 3 of the classmates. There were 4 of us in 1997, but that certainly was the largest class in a lot of years. One of those men certainly could be your pastor here someday at St. John's, hopefully long ways away, because I really don't feel like moving or want to move, so I'm hoping to stay here for quite a while. But that is a blessing and a gift for us, for the Church of the Archdiocese. Kind of a little tidbit fact that I also discovered this weekend was the 2 that were ordained deacons on Friday night, both of them, their fathers, are in the program for the permanent diaconate of the Archdiocese and anticipate ordination, one this coming summer and one next year in July. So that's kind of interesting as well. It's kind of a family thing coming together. So we come together today and we celebrate this Feast of the Ascension, and in context of what I experienced this past weekend, and as I look around, I did see some of you who were there as well at the ordinations this weekend. On Friday evening, Archbishop Jacobs gave this very beautiful homily where he talked about one of the readings, the gospel reading for that evening was Jesus hanging on the cross and basically commissioning everyone to go forth. And part of the experience that Jesus had as he hung on the cross were there were people who came by and walked by and they jeered at him. You know, if you are the Son of God, come down from there. Save yourself. In a sense, kind of a dare, if you will. And the Archbishop was saying it's easy for us to kind of fall into this experience where it's all about me. You know, we get overburdened with, our responsibilities and the expectations of other people and what we have to get done here and there and everywhere, and do people really notice and appreciate what we do? And we get into these moments of self-pity. And Jesus could have done that. When he was hanging on the cross there, as people were jeering at him, it's just like, come down and save yourself. But it wasn't about Jesus. It wasn't about Jesus. What's the purpose of the crucifixion is for all of us. If Jesus would have come down and saved himself, that wouldn't have been very good for us. Because the whole point of the resurrection, the crucifixion and the resurrection, is that he saved us. It was a selfless gift. He gave his life for us. That was the whole point of that experience. And we can fall into kind of that trap and go down that rabbit hole where we'll find absolutely nothing, where it's all about me. And that's a dangerous place to be. The ascension essentially is You know, the two men who stand and say to the disciples, "Why are you looking up at the sky?" That's not where Jesus is. He's in here. In the gospel, you know, Jesus commissions his disciples, "Now go out to the ends of the earth and baptize in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit and teach all that I have commanded to do." Now, if we make it all about us, all about me, we'd never go out into the world and do anything for anyone. But you know, that's really what ministry is about. It's going out. That's what we say at the end of our liturgy. Go. Go forth to love and to serve the Lord, to proclaim the good news, to preach the gospel. Now, we don't have to do that and wear the robes like I am or like the new priests or deacons that we have for our church in the Archdiocese this weekend, but we can do that each and every day in our own way. How we live our vocation. Married people, parents, dedicated single people, having a compassionate and listening ear to those who need someone to talk to, offering food and clothing and shelter to those who are hungry, being a voice for the imprisoned, for the unborn, for those who are treated unjustly in our society. That's teaching the commands that Jesus taught. It's also a self-giving gift. It's the other, looking out, looking away from us. To me, that's what the Ascension is all about. It's not about us. It's about others that we're called to serve. Just as Jesus commissioned his disciples, he commissions us as well. You know, it's interesting, or probably a good thing, that it happens to fall on this particular weekend, because as a nation, we step back and we honor and we celebrate those who have died, particularly in service to their country. That's the ultimate sacrifice. That's the ultimate gift that someone gave. You know, despite what marketers and advertisers try to convince you, this is not the official kickoff to the summer season. You know, this is not about burgers and brats. This is about people who died for our country. Don't forget about that. That's a selfless gift. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. We need to honor them as well. It mimics what Jesus did for us, the great gift. And then he commissioned us, go. Don't sit at home and wait. Go. Go out and do and proclaim the good news. That, I think, is what the Ascension is all about.